Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us for this second evening of the AUSA elections hustings. I'm here tonight with Megan and Stuart, who are running to be your next president for sport. If you are interested in involving yourself in the conversation tonight, or you would like to ask either candidate some questions, please tweet in using the hashtag AUSA elections, and that is your chance to involve yourself with the candidates. So the format of the hustings tonight, we will start by allowing the candidates a quick chance to introduce themselves and to chat a little bit about why they're running. We'll then move on to a couple of questions that students have been asked earlier today on campus. We will then move on to a remit-specific question, ask the candidates about the challenges of the role, and then lastly, we will pull a question from our Twitter feed. So we will start with Stuart. So Stuart, you have about 90 seconds just to chat to the viewers and the students and tell them about why you are running to be the next president for sport.
Hi there guys, my name's Stuart Kelly. I'm running for president of sport. You may have seen me, I'm part of the tennis club and the medical rugby team. We've been on the committee for both of them for quite a number of years now, so you may have seen me about campus as well. I would just like to also say on the AUSA website, if you want to read my manifesto, it is on there, just if you want to get a bit more points than what I'm about to say. My manifesto is meant to be simple, achievable, and as honest as possible. So one of my key points is the tagline for my manifesto is sport for everyone, and just trying to increase participation and competition within sport and make sure everyone feels involved and nobody feels left out is the main point. So I'll start with that point is I would like to increase participation and help the well-being of all students, especially those who are disabled and maybe not have as access and as much ease to be able to play sport. Those who maybe don't feel welcome in clubs, who maybe feel intimidated. I know the feeling as a fresher, especially waiting to try out a new sport and maybe feeling a bit shy, but it's great to try out. Also, I would like to try and increase communication between the sports union, from the trustees all the way down to the student body. That's one of my two main points, but thank you for listening.
Perfect, thank you very much, Stuart. And now we'll go to Megan. So Megan, 90 seconds just to talk a little bit about yourself and why you are standing.
Sure, thank you, Jenny. So hi guys, I'm Megan Burgoyne and I'm also running for president of sport. I have been actively involved in sport at AU now for best part of 5 years, and you'll probably know that I am from the Lacrosse Club and I've been president of the Lacrosse Club for the last 2 years. I'm really passionate about sport at AU and about team ABDN success, and I would love nothing more than to be part of that for the next year and to get right into all the nitty-gritty stuff of helping develop sport and take it to the next level. So feel free to tweet in any questions for us later on, and I'd love to answer any questions that you have. You can find my manifesto on the AUSA website, as you can find Stuart's as well, and I'll just take you through a couple of the key points in my manifesto, and you can hone in on them and ask me questions if you like. So one of the big points of my manifesto is increasing participation for students in sport and physical exercise within the university, and creating better structures or developing the structures that we already have for interclub and intramural sports. Also would like to increase awareness of, check out my manifesto guys, thank you. All my points are in there.
Thank you, Megan, that's great, and thank you to both candidates for your answers. Okay, so now we will move on to a couple of questions that have been asked by students when we went out onto campus earlier today. So Megan, we'll start with you. So sure. Michael, who's a third-year student, he wants to ask, how will you ensure that club spending is more transparent and that more money is spent on sport and events rather than on socials?
Okay, good question, really good question. I think that just boils down to having a good working relationship with the team in the sports union office, with the financial director, John, or whoever's in that position, with the sports president, with the club captains, and making sure that everyone is in their individual clubs keeping account of where the money that they're allocated through the sports union, through their grants, and where it's going, and working effectively with their club treasurers and having just making sure that everything's kept count of. I don't know how good an answer what that was. Sorry,
That's
Michael.
great. Thank you. And Stuart, same question to you.
Yeah, Mike, good question.
Yeah,
Very good question. I think it's all about mainly communication. From, as I said, reiterating a point from the trustees all the way down to the students. So, for example, my job would be speaking to also, club captains, club presidents, maybe having a few more meetings just to discuss this, and also getting involved with John, who would be obviously helping out with the budgeting of all. The whole point is obviously to try and increase people playing sport competitively as well. Though the social side I don't want to neglect, I would like to keep that part of sport, so everyone gets a chance to play even though they may not want to play competitively. But it is the main thing is communication, listening to each other, and making sure you create win-win situations for everybody is the main point I put through.
Perfect, that's great, thank you both. And now the second question, and this comes from Alistair, who's also a third-year student, and he asks, how do we encourage more students to take part in elite sport here at AUSA? And Stuart, we'll start with you this time.
Elite sport. We have fantastic facilities here at Aberdeen University. As you may know of the Sports Village, we've got the brand new aquatic centre. It's come a long way since certainly when my auntie and uncle went here, and there's the King's Pavilion swimming pool that we were stuck in. We do have the facilities, and I would say that would attract a lot of elite sportsmen and women. For example, other universities, Stirling, that's well renowned in Scotland, is having fantastic facilities, but they get more, maybe say, elite sportsmen and women going there. A big thing is scholarships that I would put forth, attracting people who may not have the opportunity to play sport due to financial obligations. By offering more scholarships and bursaries, it would help attract students who maybe don't have enough flexibility. As another one would help it with elite sportsmen. We make sure their studies are their priority, but also their sport is taken care of, especially. Thank you.
Perfect. And Megan, same question to you.
Could you just repeat the first bit of it for me? Sorry.
Of course. How do we encourage more students to take part in elite sport here at Aberdeen University?
Okay, yeah, really good question. I'll probably start off by saying that I've been a part of the bursary scheme here at the university, which is a really, really great system they've got in place, and it's really encouraging for those athletes that are participating at elite levels, and it really helps with allowing them to compete and for them to carry on with their studies at the same time, and they help out with funds, and they help out with physio and that sort of thing, working well with the sport and exercise team. Building upon that, I think the bursary scheme needs to be better advertised, I think, to encourage students to come to Aberdeen that might not necessarily know that these schemes are in place, so that they can think, oh yeah, Aberdeen is definitely somewhere that I consider going as an elite athlete, because I can study, I'll also have the support of the union, and I've also got these world-class facilities at the ASV, the aquatic centre, going further up at Hillhead, and the staff, everything that helps out. I think just it needs to be more publicised that we have these support networks in place.
Perfect, that's great. Thank you both, and
Thank you.
Fantastic answers. And just while we are here, just to encourage viewers and students that are watching or getting involved to tweet in using the hashtag AUSA elections, and make sure that you can ask both candidates questions on their policies. So next, what we'll do is we'll move on to the remit specific question. So this time we'll start with Megan. And the question is, often students who are involved in sports clubs aren't aware about other AUSA activities, such as volunteering and student democracy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you plan to involve more sports club members in other AUSA activities?
Really good question. Thank you. Again, that boils down to communication. So it really needs to come from the top and from the sports union and staff that work within the sports union. And the president's role is really to communicate a lot with the club captains and all the individual sort of committees from all the clubs. We've got 54 clubs here. We've got 3,000 people involved in sport at Aberdeen. Hopefully we want to increase that. There's 15,000 students at the university, and so we want to be taking these students that are involved in sport, who have this fun-loving attitude, that are so dedicated to their sport, also to the social scene, and just encourage them through their clubs to get involved with AUSA, to put out there on social media, like everything from events that AUSA are hosting, working well within encouraging the sports union to become more integrated and work more with AUSA as well, and just lots of communication and encouraging from the club level down to the individual level to get involved in everything that AUSA's doing. Perfect,
thank you, Megan. And Stuart, same question to you. How would you involve more sport club members in other AUSA activities?
Really, the point Megan put forth with is communications being the main thing, making sure they're actually aware of volunteer schemes and how they can get involved in student elections and democracy. It is, again, going from myself and others in the sports union and going to club presidents, to club captains, and reiterating that this is available and letting clubs know. And the best way is social media, especially nowadays, is the easiest way for people to get information fast and effectively, and make sure the idea of volunteering, especially, you want to make it accessible and easy to do. And social media, I feel, would be possibly the best way to help people understand how they can do this and what they can gain from participating in it.
Perfect, thank you. And Megan. Cool. Perfect, that's great. So we will now move on. So the fourth question, which the candidates have had some time to think about in advance, is about what do you see as being the biggest challenges in this role? And Stuart, we'll start with you.
Biggest challenges within this role, I feel, would be dealing with all the relationships that you have to deal with, whether it be from representing the sports union itself to the trustees, and then meeting with club captains and the club presidents. And the main thing, again, I'll sort of reiterate the point, is communication, and making sure that everyone's on the same page and nobody's feeling that they're not getting the information needed, they're feeling left out, so to speak. So I think the best thing to do is just to build relationships. I think it could be a big challenge, is make sure you build and you maintain the relationships and you feel you're a trustworthy person, you're honest. And if you have to say no, please, is to justify, a challenge is to justify why it's no. Be honest and upfront with them. Don't beat around the bush, make excuses. You tell them exactly what's wrong and how we can move forward from it. I'd also say it is, getting the students' point across is the main challenge, I feel, and making sure the students feel like they have a voice and they're feeling like they are listened to, which I intend to do, is listen and create a solution for them to help push through what they want.
Perfect, thank you. And Megan, same question to you.
Cool. Well, I've thought about this long and hard, and I think one of the biggest challenges for the role will be to increase participation, because we always talk about wanting to increase participation, involving a bigger percentage of the student body in sports. But what we want to focus in on is, of course, the sporting system is brilliant, but we also want to sort of branch out and to include physical activity and creating opportunities for people to get involved in, more things like more yoga classes, more circuit classes, more strength and conditioning, things that are not necessarily connected to a specific sport. So you might think, oh, I don't play basketball, or I don't play football, and I don't fit into a specific club, so perhaps the sports scene isn't for me. Well, no. And that couples into increasing participation by creating and developing upon modes for better and bigger intramural inter-club events, so that people that are not specifically, as I say, connected to a specific sport can come and they can participate on and off and have fun and be active, and just overall help build the sports union, build the amount of people that are involved in sport at Aberdeen, and then to strengthen, therefore, this whole Team ABDM brand that we're trying to create here.
Perfect, that's great. Thank you both so much. And now finally we'll take a quick question off the Twitter feed. So I have a question that's come in from Jonathan, and he asks if you could tell us a little bit about what your first 30 days in office will look like as the president for sport. So Megan,
fun question.
You want to start?
Fun question. The first 30 days, okay. Are we are we from July start or from like when all the students come back in September?
Probably from July.
Okay, July.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a lot of getting used to the work, doing a bit of training, meeting all the new staff, meeting all the new SAB officers, sort of getting your feet on the ground. Perhaps some time while the students are not particularly all back in September yet, working on your plans, looking at your manifesto, trying to work out your sort of plan for the year and map out sort of a rough calendar. Think about how you're going to start strengthening the relationships between the new committees that are coming in, perhaps sending out some information and some emails welcoming the new committees that are coming in, that are going to be coming in and starting their roles in September.
Perfect, thank you. And sorry, Stuart, same question to you.
Sorry, Stuart.
My bad.
In my first 30 days, I'll be finding my feet and being really excited, especially at the same time, really wanting to learn. I'm just really keen to learn and be excited for the new role. But I would like to also straight away would be emailing club presidents and club captains and just sort of seeing how ways we could increase communication, sort of help each other out and look for ask for their needs and values of their clubs and see if we can create a plan for them for the coming year, and also making sure it's actually doable more than anything else. But yeah, it's mainly just sort of getting your feet on the ground and hopefully making it a good year.
Perfect, thank you both, and thank you for your answers. They've been absolutely brilliant tonight. So what we'll do now is we'll just give both candidates the chance to just make some final closing remarks and to tell you guys why they should be your next president for sport. So Stuart, we'll start with you. Just a few moments.
Yeah, I would love to be sports president of the university. As I've sort of reiterated, I've been part of sport here for the last 4 years and I've loved every minute of it. From playing tennis and my first night out and with them winning a limbo competition, that was quite interesting. So from there on in, I absolutely loved the sport at the university and the medical team taking me in as one of their own, even though I'm not part of it. And now being vice president has sort of given me a hope that there's a great chance for people to grow within sport and have fun is the main thing. And more than anything else, is sport's fun and it should be for everyone.
Definitely.
Perfect. And Megan.
Cool, thank you. Well, I'd really appreciate your vote. Please do check out my manifesto because I do that does highlight the sort of agenda that I would attack the role with. I love sport. I'm super passionate about sport and particularly of sport at Aberdeen here and Team ABDN. I've been around for 5 years now and I just would love to one more year. I'd love to be around. As Stuart says, sport is fun. I'm really passionate about all the clubs here, and I'd absolutely love the opportunity to be your next president of sport. Thank you for your questions.
Perfect. Thank you both so much, and I'm sure we can agree that was a really great session. And thank you both so much for your answers.
Thank you, Jen.
We will be back in about 20 minutes' time with the next set of hustings, which are for the President for Education and Employability. If you do want to find out a bit more about both Megan and Stuart and the reasons they are running, please go on to the election section of the AUSA. Feel free to tweet in, even though the elections are finished, ask the candidates questions, and to just go and find them and talk to them about the reasons they're running. But we'll be back in about 10 minutes for the next set, and thank you very much for watching.
See you in Liquid.
Bye. See you Wednesday.